Man, this week for the Raiders feels like chaos wrapped in silver and black. A cryptic message, a defensive spark, a brutal matchup ahead while Pete Carroll's future hangs by a thread, and a behind-the-scenes tension that's got fans buzzing. Trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. The last story might be the biggest shock of the season. But before we break all this down, quick thing, folks, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Takes 2 seconds, and it really helps the channel grow. Smash that like too, so YouTube spreads this to the whole Raider Nation, and drop a comment, because this space, it's all of us. It's for the fans. Let's be real. The vibe inside the Raiders locker room feels heavy. Adam Butler dropped one of those quotes that makes everyone stop and think everybody knows what's going on, he said. Boom! Just like that, fans and media started speculating like crazy. When a vet talks like that, there's smoke, and you know what they say about smoke, the team's 2-7, and it's not just about losing, it's about playing with no soul. When the offense clicks, the defense collapses. When the defense locks in, the offense goes ice cold. And Butler basically admitted it without saying it. Things are tense. He tried to play it cool, saying he's just focused on doing his job. But come on, that sounds like a guy biting his tongue. The problem looks bigger than the field. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, seems to have lost the locker room. Players aren't buying in, the scheme's predictable, and Geno Smith, man, he's struggling bad. Everyone sees it. The fans, the analysts, the teammates. Pete Carroll, who built his legacy on keeping locker rooms tight, looks out of sync, 74 years old, still full of energy, but maybe out of touch with a mix of young guns and vets running low on patience. And remember, Carroll's the one who traded for Geno and handed him that big extension. Hard to defend that right now. Kelly's definitely on the hot seat. If the offense doesn't wake up, he might not finish the season. Honestly, Butler's comment felt like a warning shot, like he's saying, we all know who's to blame. The locker room feels split. Some still believe, some are just waiting for the season to end, and when that happens, it's a ticking bomb. Carroll might survive, but if he doesn't fix this fast, he's just another coach who lost the room. Raider Nation deserves better. Passion, effort, and pride in the silver and black. Butler's words lit a fire. Drop a comment. Was it frustration or a message to the coach? Either way, things are about to heat up. And speaking of heat, the next story's about a guy who might just reignite this defense. Now, amid all this chaos, finally, some good news for the defense. Lonnie Johnson is back, and you can feel the difference. The guy brings experience, swagger, and calm. The secondary looks steadier with him out there. That's not hype. That's from watching this team every week. Pete Carroll even said they'd been building toward Lonnie's return for a while, and when he hit the field, it was like the missing puzzle piece snapped into place against the Broncos. The defense held them to nearly half their usual points. Coincidence? Doubt it. Lonnie has that veteran poise. He's seen it all, stays cool, and makes everyone around him sharper. Carroll couldn't hide his trust, calling him versatile, smart, and still improving. Translation, this comeback's just getting started. Once he's fully in rhythm, this could be the start of a real defensive turnaround. The chemistry with coaches Marcus Robertson and Joe Woods helps too. He's familiar, comfortable, and that trust is gold. Sometimes it's not about raw talent. It's about communication and confidence. And seeing Lonnie back gives fans hope that the defense can keep the team afloat while the offense searches for answers. You can see it. When he's commanding the field, guys are lined up better, reacting faster, playing tougher. Fans have noticed it too. Finally, the defense looks stable again. Lonnie brings balance. And without that, you can't build a real defense. If he keeps this up, he could be a cornerstone for the rebuild we've all been waiting for. Every small step matters right now. Drop a comment. Did you notice the difference with Lonnie back? For me, that was the first real breath of fresh air from this defense in weeks, but don't get too comfy. The next test's brutal. The Cowboys are waiting. Here's the thing. If the defense just started breathing again, the offense is about to get suffocated. The Dallas Cowboys are coming, and this one's going to hurt. The Raiders' offensive line looks like an emergency patch job. 3 starters hurt, backup scrambling, and across the line. Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, absolute beasts. Monday is going to be a long night. Dallas built a wall, and Carroll even called Williams a game wrecker. He's not wrong. Williams wrecks plays by himself. If the Raiders can't protect Geno Smith, this could turn ugly fast. They had the whole offseason to fix the O-line and didn't. Now they're paying the price. Meanwhile, Dallas made power moves, loading up smartly before the trade deadline. The contrast is painful. One team's reinforcing, the other's holding things together with duct tape. Carroll says the team will adapt, that he trusts the group's versatility. But honestly, it feels like survival mode. More about heart than scheme. The Cowboys' offense, though? Dak Prescott's got a stacked arsenal. Elite receivers, a bruising run game, and an O-line that gives him all day to throw. Carroll even praised offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, calling the offense complete. Translation, he knows the challenge. This game will show who's still fighting and who's already checked out. Fans just want effort. Grit, sweat, pride. Win or lose, don't quit. And call it gut feeling, but I sense something weird here. Maybe an upset brewing, maybe a forgotten player steps up, because Raider Nation lives off chaos and hope in equal measure. Drop a comment. Can the Raiders hang with Dallas, or are we headed for another heartbreak? I just want fight, man, because next we're talking about a rookie trying to survive behind that broken O-line. Ashton Jeanty. Buckle up, this one's real. And speaking of carrying weight, let's talk Ashton Jeanty. The kid's trying his heart out, but man, it's rough. Not for lack of effort, just zero help patchwork O-line, no rhythm in the run game, and he's getting hit from all directions. No rookie shines in that chaos. Still, he's showing flashes against the Broncos. He looked like a vet at times, breaking 5 tackles and scoring the team's only touchdown. It may not sound like much, but when the whole offense is dragging, those sparks matter. The problem is the passing game. 2 dropped passes, 1 turning into a pick. Rookie mistakes, sure, but in Vegas, every mistake gets magnified. Truth is, Jeanty's paying for front office failures. Drafted high, loaded with potential, and stuck behind a crumbling line. Chip Kelly tried to justify it, saying it's about winning, not fantasy stats fair, but how do you win if the offense can't adapt? There's a lack of humility up top. Instead, Jeanty's taking the heat. But he's got heart, runs hard, takes hits, tries to be part of the passing game. All he needs is structure. Give him that, and he could be a franchise cornerstone. Fans love his grind. No ego, just fight. Raider Nation respects Warriors even when the scoreboard doesn't. I still believe Jeanty can be one of those guys who defines the rebuild if the team stops making basic mistakes. But if they leave him stranded, he'll just be another wasted talent. Drop a comment. Do you believe Jeanty can become that guy? Because next up, it's the talk no one wants to have. Pete Carroll's future. And honestly, it's starting to smell like the end. All right, let's face it. Pete Carroll. The man came in with championship clout, a rebuild plan, and a glimmer of hope for the fan base. But if we're keeping it real, things look bad. The team's lost, the locker room's uneasy, and his decisions harder and harder to defend. CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin didn't hold back, and he ranked Carroll as the coach most likely to be fired. Brutal, but fair. The plan looks outdated. He doubled down on aging players and surrounded himself with assistants who can't adjust. Whatever magic he had in Seattle didn't make it to Vegas, and you can tell Carroll feels it. Firing special teams coordinator Tom McMahon mid-season, that's not a tweak. That's survival mode. Moves like that usually mean the head coach feels the walls closing in. The Raiders thought they were buying stability. Instead, they got a team with no pulse. The energy's still there, sure, but the connection's gone, and when that happens, no playbook can fix it. I respect Carroll's legacy, I really do. The guy's a legend, but the NFL's ruthless, and Raider Nation even more so. Patience runs out fast here. What hurts most? Knowing there were other options, Ben Johnson was right there, Brady wanted him. Instead, they played it safe. Now we're stuck. Carroll's at a crossroads. Win a few games fast or pack it up. Vegas doesn't wait for miracles. Still, even with the team falling apart, the fans show up, scream, and believe. That's Raider Nation. We bleed silver and black through the pain. Drop a comment. So should Carroll get more time, or is it time to move on? Because honestly, this feels like the start of another rebuild, and don't go anywhere. In the wrap-up, we'll tie it all together from Butler to Carroll and talk about what this moment really means for the Las Vegas Raiders. When you put it all together, Butler's frustration, Lonnie's return, the Cowboys' clash, Jeanty's fight, and Carroll's uncertainty, it feels like the Raiders are standing at a crossroads. Either they pull together now, or this season slips away completely. And let's be honest, Raider Nation deserves more. More grit, more heart, more identity. Because being a Raider means falling, getting back up, and fighting again. Drop your thoughts below. This community is for everyone who lives and breathes the Raider Nation, and stay tuned, because just when you think you've seen it all, something crazier always happens in Vegas.